Arsenal community, welcome to Weekly Surgery, late night Thursday at the Albert JTV household, with two amazing patients ready to discuss and talk many things Arsenal. But before we get into Arsenal community, let's hit the Weekly Surgery intro for episode 30. Footballing community, waiting time is now over. The Albert JTV practice is now open. The surgery required is Premier League talk and any other business. Let's get to work. Welcome to the Weekly Surgery. Good evening and welcome back to Albert JTV for another Weekly Surgery, episode 30. As you can see, Arsenal community, I've got two very special guests who I'm sure have met each other once or twice at maybe a few Arsenal games over the years. But glad to get these two on. I haven't got judges for long. But guys, welcome back to Albert JTV. I've never got you two on together. So this is groundbreaking, to be honest with you. More important than the football itself. But judges, thank you for coming on, mate. How are you?
I'm all good, thank you very much. I hope you're well, Albert. And always a pleasure to see our big Kenny as well, like, you know.
Yeah, no, Judge, it's great to get you on, man. The only guy that I know that probably needs better voice notes than me. Well, I'll ask Kenny Ken and ask Judges, mate. Trust me, we know. And Kenny Ken, take yourself off mute. Glad to get you on, mate. Lots of love. And how you been, mate?
I've had a good, few weeks. The only sort of like blot on the copybook was Porto away, but apart from that, it's been great watching us play football, and of course it's great to be with a judge as well. This season's it's going to be really exciting towards the end, and I hope we last the pace.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. So I'm going to come to judges first, actually, because supporting Arsenal in quite a few recent years has not been. It's been challenging, should I say, to put it politely. We sort of kind of forgot what it feels like to be, challenging for league titles and doing well in Europe. But maybe that's just a thing that's not been great with the club anyway, if you look at our European record. But to sort of judges how you sort of, we've got 12 Premier League games to go. We're in a very critical stage of the Champions League. How are you feeling about Arsenal, sort of your gut feeling and what's likely to come over the next 12 weeks or 3 months?
The gut feeling is it's going to be a roller coaster. I think I'm enjoying it, and one that I'm going to enjoy it. Listen, if they produce that first half performance every game this season, for instance, then I think we'd be in for a good time, because I can't remember us playing that well in 45 minutes. All the football, the way we pressed, everything there. It was a pleasure to watch. And listen, even some games this season, I think Kenny would agree, that have been difficult to watch at times. I haven't really enjoyed watching some games. And I've sort of harping back onto what was going on last season. But over the last 3 or 4 games, and particularly that one on Saturday, that was back to it was last season. It was really entertaining. There was a purpose to us and everything there. And it was just enjoyable being in the stadium. Not only for the result, the atmosphere was back to it as it was. It was electric in there on Saturday, the flags and everything like that. It was just a pleasure to be there. And I'm going to be really honest, weren't looking forward to the 8 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday night. But all in all, I'll give that a 10 out of 10, from performance to atmosphere to everything. It was just a great night. And what happens is, I don't know how you guys feel, but as soon as the game's finishing, I want more. I can't wait till Monday night now. And that's what you want it to be like. When you go away from the ground, you want to be coming back as soon as possible. And I think also, I don't know if it made a little bit of a difference that it was 2 or 3 weeks after the Liverpool game. That was the first time that everybody was back at the Emirates, because obviously been away from home on the last few games. So maybe that had something to do with it. But it was a pleasure to be there, and really enjoyed it.
Now, also, Judge, before I come to Kenny again quickly, just very quickly, in terms of the atmosphere, because that's been talked about a lot about Arsenal this season. At times it's felt a bit flat, but in terms of that game on Saturday and also in recent weeks, how have you felt it sort of going home and away, the atmosphere between like with the Arsenal folk?
It's been fantastic. The good atmosphere, good feel good factor. Even in Porto, you know, it didn't work out our way, but like, you know, everybody was still not buzzing after the game, but like, you know, was disappointed, but there was confidence. Oh, don't worry, we'll do it in the next game. Whether we will or not, that's another thing. But there was confidence going in there. And one of the greatest things about going to the game on Saturday is that just before that, Manchester City had won, and no one seemed to care about it. I didn't know, because I knew that we was gonna do the job ourselves. You know, where last season there was at times when, you know, what, Man City won, and you know, he was a little bit down about it. But this time you're thinking, well, you expect Man City to win that game, right? Let's move. You know, let's make sure we do our stuff. So yeah, I think the atmosphere definitely over the last few games. I don't know if there was trying to be forcing an atmosphere over certain games a little while back, but certainly on this one, it was, as soon as you was walking up to the stadium, it was buzzing. Everybody was on the same page, and I think that's the thing at the moment. Like, you know, everybody seems to be on the same page with Arsenal, whether you are convinced about the manager or not. The way we're playing is sort of got everybody together. And listen, I don't care what anybody says. You know, winning helps, but winning in style is even better. Like, you know, I think we've been winning a few games, and there's always been a little doubt. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, we're not playing well, but all of a sudden we're winning, and we're winning with style and really, really playing well. Bodes for a good atmosphere, and everything's going really well at this moment in time.
Well said, the judge. Long live the judges. Let me come to Kenny Ken. Kenny Ken, sort of the same question, but also as well. We often hear the term in football, squeaky bum time. Is that still early to say with 12 games to go, or is there a point where you look at the season and you think, you know what, this is make or break now?
Yeah, I think so. I think Judge is being very naughty. He didn't mention Liverpool. I think there's a lot of Arsenal fans are discounting Liverpool because they're looking at the fact that Liverpool are probably in transition because they got rid of their own midfield, and the fact that there's injuries. They got injuries, so a lot of Arsenal fans, you know, traditionally looking at City as their rivals, and probably expecting Liverpool to fall away because of their involvement in a lot of competitions. But you can never really exempt Liverpool because of the fact that all three contenders have different strengths. You have to accept that Man City got no weaknesses. It's state of play. You have to accept that Arsenal probably got the best defence. I mean, but Liverpool probably got the best attack. So they've got all three different qualities. I think in terms of now, with 12 games to go, I don't think any of the three teams can have to sleep with one eye open. You've got to sleep with one eye open because the fact is that everyone's responding to each other's performances. You know, the fact that Liverpool win big, Arsenal win big, then City will win. And I think that's the way it's going to be for the rest of the season. You look at the fixtures as well. You know, there's a few kingmakers there, like Brighton going to be kingmakers, Villa are going to be kingmakers, Spurs going to be kingmakers, and Man United can be kingmakers. You would think that whoever does best in those kind of tricky games may see it through. And then obviously you've got a couple of 6-pointers as well. Not so much or Liverpool got a 6-pointer against Manchester City, and Arsenal got a 6-pointer against Man City. But in terms of all the other games, you still have to sleep with one eye open. You know, because you look at yesterday, all the teams are qualified for the FA Cup quarter-final. So we have a free week in March the 16th, 17th, and 18th. Well, Monday. Well, yeah. And then so you know what Sky's going to do, and BT, they're going to try and force sandwich some games into maybe the end of April, beginning of May, one day Arsenal, one day Liverpool, one day Man City, Tuesday to Thursday. And I think that's where they're hoping. But I really think they don't have to wait till those dates, rearrange fixtures. It's happening now. We got Sheffield. We're going to beat them comfortably. Lee's going to have his new favourite song. His new favourite song that he sings all the time. That is very catchy, by the way. Anyway, and then obviously Liverpool will beat Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest got no confidence, and Liverpool just playing a crest of a wave. And then you've got the Manchester derby where you expect something to happen, but Man United just don't know how to press. So that's going to happen. And then you've got the next games where you've got a 6-pointer, Liverpool versus Man City, and then we've got Brentford. So that's where both teams can't sleep with one eye open because something's got to give.
Brentford's gonna be tricky, man.
You say that they got smashed 4-2 by West Ham, and they got beaten. I think the situation is that they're missing Burmo quite a lot.
Time.
Brian and Burmo.
Oh, he's frozen.
Sorry. They miss quite a few players, especially Brian and Burma. I think they're a better team when he's in the side. So what was happening is that they will score goals, but they'll concede a shed load as well. So you expect us to win those games. But, I'm looking at the whole situation and I'm thinking, I am excited. The atmosphere is brilliant at the Emirates. I don't think that we're going to be able to play this sort of gegenpress, high press attacking football because physically it may not be possible to play that. And then coming into the straight, the lovely football we've been seeing, I think we're going to have to, probably play a bit more brinkmanship in terms of the way we got to play because this is where, we may be running M2, maybe in the Champions League. That's where, whether we like or not, we are going to be tired because there's periods on Saturday when we look knackered in the second half. That's going to happen. So, as long as we've got that thinking, trying to win any way, which way we can, I do generally believe we've got a chance. I do, say it perversely, this is our best chance of silverware. The Champions League's a different kettle of fish. I don't think this team's built for the Champions League. I think in terms of personnel, style, and the athleticism and pace that we play in the Premiership. In Europe, you just can't play that way.
No, well said, Kenny. Well said. People, as I like to say, don't just touch the like button. Smash the like button and get them algorithms up, people. Got fantastic guests with Judges and Kenny Ken. Judge, I'm going to come to you quickly, mate. So Arsenal currently at the moment, in terms of big chances created, we've just popped up the table a little bit more. We're 5th behind Villa, Newcastle, Man City and Liverpool. 10 clean sheets, least goals conceded in the Premier League at 23. I once heard you say, Judges, I think you said it, is it clean sheets win league goals win matches, clean sheets win league titles. How impressed have you been a further season on defensively with how good Arsenal have been?
I think you cannot be other than impressed with what's been going on. Really, it's not so much the defending; it's just that teams don't have that many shots against us now. Do you know?
No.
Last season we was winning games 4-2, 3-1, 3-2 with 70% of play. And in that 30%, teams was getting 4 or 5 shots off us. Ramsdale was making save after save. This time around, this season, we've stopped all that. We've still got 70% of possession and things like that. But in that 30% of possession, haven't given teams many opportunities. One shot a game, it seems at the moment that our keeper has to save. So, which is unbelievable, really. But the team and the success of the team has obviously got different elements of it, where you can talk about the attacking players, but the foundation of it is the 2 central defenders. And if you look at those 2 central defenders, they're the best partnership since we won titles. I don't care what anybody says. When we had Sol Campbell and Torre, Adams, Keown, Bold, that sort of and you can even go back to the McClintock-Simpson era as well. Solid back 2. Fullback's always good, but that partnership is pivotal as far as I'm concerned. And we've got that. We've got 2 central defenders that arguably as good as each other. They've got their different things, but what they do is they complement each other fantastically well. And that gives us the base to go forward. I've watched Ferguson, there's a lot of talk about him when Brighton come to the Emirates. Them 2 made him his game drop back to where it was. He's had to reevaluate his game now because we were so good that day against him that he's knocked him a little bit of confidence in his game. That's my personal opinion. But then again, I wouldn't be too bad on him, because there's other players that have come there and have been bashed about as well. They don't give him anything. Like Isaac the other night, nothing. He had one little run when he went out wide and done his thing, but when he was down the middle, he never got a kick. Whether it was up in the air, on his feet, they've been fantastic. All over you like a rash, physically and and also pace-wise as well. You know, you can't run these two guys. So, listen, I think that's where we've been fantastic. And, you know, we all love scoring goals, of course. I love us scoring goals and all that. But I do like us defending properly. And also what I liked and what about Ben White's performance, zero respect, and I mean zero respect for Anthony Gordon, like, you know, who's probably been Newcastle's best player over the course of the season, like, you know, caused I know it's only Blackburn, but he was the main threat for Blackburn. But, you know, Ben White just smashed all over him, like, you know what I mean? And when he was on the floor, it didn't help him out or nothing like that. Just give him the old stare. I love all that sort of stuff. I really do. So I think that there's a ruthlessness about our defending, which I haven't seen for a very, very long while.
No, well said, Judges. Well said. Kenny, come into you, mate. Was it 19 set pieces Arsenal scored from the season? Incredible. I knew they've done well, but they've done really, really well. But there's one player I want to talk about in particular, Kenny. I don't know if you heard much about him before when we signed him, but is Jakub Kiwior as well, who in recent games has really, really stepped up considering he's playing out of position. I just want to get your thoughts on him in the sense that I do think this is my own personal opinion, by the way, I do think some Arsenal fans went in on him a bit early in terms of maybe the quality he can offer defensively or just as a player coming to Arsenal. But how much has he impressed you? And do you think there's probably more to come from him in an Arsenal defence?
Yeah, definitely. Like, for instance, you know, we like to see him at centre half, but Gabriel's just too good at that sort of left centre half berth. At left back, he's perfect because you think about the makeup of our side and what makes it successful, you know, league. You know, we rely heavily on athleticism, you know, both in attack and defence, and he's just perfect for that. You know, Jakub Kiwior in Europe struggled a bit because of the kind of the tempo that, you know, Porto played at. But in the Premiership, he's fantastic, brilliant against West Ham, brilliant when he came on against Liverpool, excellent against Burnley, excellent as well. And I think this way we're playing right now and the makeup of the team, that suits Jakub 150%. In terms of set pieces as well, that is something that we've really been good at. But, you know, I've been spoilt because I'm a George Graham man, as everyone know. I love him as well. I love him. Not in set pieces. You know, I was talking to Igao was going about on Dan's show. I said, my attitude was, so what? I was seeing that in 89 and 91. Something different. And I think that's the situation. Maybe I'm probably too much of an old fogey, and I just think, well, that's what you should.
Kenny, you're not, mate. You're not, Kenny. Don't worry about that.
Yeah,
mate.
but that is something that has been impressive. That's something they've worked on before. But, you know, I pick up on the points that Lee made regarding how we made up. I think last season, where we kind of went wrong was in terms of, like, Thomas Partey was the only one who gave you know, defence protection, but he was also playing in a very, like, creative role where he was lending himself, you know, the vision of his passes and lending himself in attacking areas. So what we had, you know, Odegaard pushing up and getting close to the attackers, and you had Granit Xhaka stealing in, ghosting on the left. So what was happening is that those were where the gaps were, you know, in terms of teams, you know, having 5 or 6 shots at goal, especially at home, and scoring 2 or 3 goals, which costs the title. That's what costs the title. It's nothing to do with Saliba, you know, getting injured. That's just a myth. You know, our problems were the way we were giving our defence protection. Now, when you look at it now, the defence has a lot more protection. Declan Rice, you know, not like Partey in terms of complete midfielder, but his recovery is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. Recoveries. And you're finding that Odegaard, when Jorginho plays, he gives him a little bit of protection. He comes back, you know, maybe 20 yards to be around him, especially when they had the ball. And I think that's what we've done a lot better, where as much as we were playing beautiful, attractive football last season, we're very neglectful because we assume we'll be defending games. I think that's where the managers eradicated those kind of mistakes. Hence the fact that, you know, the buzzwords is Arsenal look more in control in games. They're a better team than they were last season. I think it's that kind of corridor that, you know, Lee was talking about. But, you know, in terms of Kiwior, horses of courses, man. Horse of courses, man. You know, as much as I love his performances, there's still questions that need to be asked. You know, that if you know, Tommy Astor was fully fit, and I'm saying fully quite a few times. I don't think Kiwior will get a game. I really don't. But he stepped up to the plate, and that's what you want in this kind of title charge. You know, a lot of people like to be European charge as well. Everyone's got to put their hands up. You know, every squad member has to show some sort of utility to the cause, and majority of them are doing it. There are a few players who we won't care to mention, although we might mention like who just basically ain't going to bring nothing to the table. We know they are, and they're just there to, I don't know, maybe do a few card tricks. You know, get the guitar out and sing some, you know, like catchy songs, or just do some set up karaoke. But apart from that, you know, that is one of my biggest worries towards the end of the season. Is that when I look at the players who could let us down by not being able to contribute too much, you know, that could be our weakness in terms of this title charge, because I don't see many of those players in Man City, Liverpool.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's the thing. I know, Judge, I ain't got you much. Let me know, Judge, when you got to go. But that's the thing. You know, with the players, obviously, people spoke about the summer transfer window and what we didn't do in January. And I think, well, obviously, some of the players that have been kept at the club, that's on Mikel. So if you're going to keep them at the club, you've got to trust them to play them. And they've got also, when they've got to come in, they've got to come in and do the business. Kiwior lately has been doing that. And you make a good point. If Tommy Asu's probably fit, I thought, but obviously, Jaco Kiwior was bought as for me because we didn't have a left-sided centre-back at the club other than Gabriel. So he's come in and he's done really, really well recently. He's obviously got the goal he scored against as well. So that's good for his confidence. But Judge, is coming to you again. I'll talk about one individual player which has been spoken about quite a few times by not really Arsenal fans, but rival fans. But that is Bukayo Saka, Judges. So kind of the best way I'm going to put it to you is, I think last season, his goal contributions in all competitions, I think was 26. He's already on 29. And, you know, we're talking about a guy here who's still only 22, but he's been a fixture in the Arsenal side for quite a long time now. Played in a multitude of different positions. Has cemented his place for the national side. Has he gone on to be, has he been better than what you thought he would be when he first come into the side and sort of fast forward in the last sort of 3 or 4 years?
Oh, that's a good question. I think like when I see him a few seasons ago, what I'm seeing now is probably what I expected, but and delighted with it in the same sort of sense, really. Like, you know, I think the biggest compliment that you can give Saka at the moment is that, yeah, I think he struggled a little bit with 2 or 3 men on him at times.
All the time, yeah.
At the beginning of the season, but he's overcome that now. He's worked out ways to combat that, and you think that you've got a 22-year-old player at this moment in time where teams are feeling that's, you know, this is Arsenal that are doing really, really well. It's just no team that's down the bottom half of the table or the middle of the table. It's got other players that can win games for you as well. It's not like we're a one-man team like certain teams that have gone by. Like, say, for instance, like when Jack Grealish was at Aston Villa, you could target Jack Grealish because the quality around Jack Grealish wasn't at the level that he is. But with Saka, there's players that have got levels as well, but they still feel it's important to double up and sometimes treble up on him. And I think that the biggest compliment that you can give him is that he's gone away, looked at it, gone through the season, whatever way you want to look at it, and is now addressing it and beating it. And what the best thing for me is that, yes, he's left-footed, but he's not afraid to go down on the outside, use his right foot and go that. So what he's done is he's give himself another, you know, like if you're all left-footed, you know, just keep him on his left, he won't go outside. He's got all of that to his game now. And I also think the other thing is with Kai Havertz in there now, there's the option of a cross.
Yeah.
Now, he can put in a cross, which he might use or he might not, like, you know. And I think that in the last few games with Havertz being up there, I'm not saying that Havertz is the long-term option, but you know what I'm saying. It means that all of a sudden he might cross it here, and then he fakes the cross and he's gone past you. So it's giving him another dimension to his game as well. I also think that Ben White has now sort of had his shackles taken off him. I don't know if this was something that was going on, because now all of a sudden he's making those gut-busting runs. And credit to him for that, because he does make those runs and doesn't get the ball, because he's really there to be a help to Saka. So all of those things are coming into fruition at the moment. And I don't know how you feel about it, but when he went through and having that jink, I turned around and I said, he's going to score here, like, cuts inside, bang, and I go, told you so, but that's how it is at the moment. Where a few weeks back or a couple of months back, he wasn't quite doing it, but he seems fresh, he seems hungry, and listen, I think, for me, it's just a pleasure to watch him play, whether it was at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 now. And the one of the best things about him is, he's durable as well. Like they put tackles on him and he bounces back up. There's nothing not to like about this kid, and that's as simple as it is. Is he a kid now? I think he's on the borderline of not being a kid no more. I don't know when you actually say that he's not, but 22 now, I'm just 22. I suppose, he's not, but he just seems to be around for a very, very long time as well.
Yeah, he's made of tough stuff, Bukayo Saka. It's all that jollof rice and chicken, judges. That's what it is. Kenny Ken knows, and I know only too well, man. Kenny Ken, coming to you quickly. Yeah, he's 13 goals, 7 assists this season. I think I remember him actually saying, when he asked Arsene Wenger, he said, what do I need to work on? And he said to him, you need to work on your right foot a bit more. But what do you think with Saka? Obviously, you're pleased as he's an Arsenal player and he's playing well at the moment. I think it's not inconceivable. If he carries on the way he's playing, he'll hit 20 Premier League goals. I don't think it's impossible. But what do you feel he still needs to work on in his game? Oh, he's frozen.
Oh, is it me or Lee?
You're cool, Kenny. Yes, you, mate. Sorry, mate. Sorry, go on.
So, well, first, to be honest, I think Bukayo Saka, obviously, the right foot needs a bit of work in heading. That's what's going to need a bit of work, because you look at the Cristiano Ronaldo. One of the things he worked on was his heading.
Oh, it's amazing! Yeah,
heading. And so did Gareth Bale as well. And obviously, Gareth Bale, I think his right foot wasn't that bad anyway. But I think that's something that Bukayo Saka needs to work on. Definitely. I think in terms of like his whole round game, that's going to come anyway. Because, you look at these numbers, there's been debate about whether he's world class or not. I personally think he's not. I think the only two world class players we have in the Premiership are De Bruyne and Salah. Because I base world class on consistency of performances and the ability to turn up in the big games, grab him by a scruff of the neck, or win those, be the difference in those games. And I think that's where Bukayo's going. I think of the players we have in the squad, there's only 3 players I think are going to be world class. One is going to be Declan Rice, Saliba, and Saka.
Yeah,
they're the ones I expect to go on. Saka is a very interesting point as well, because a question was asked: who's going to be the best academy player of all time? Obviously, we've got Tony, who's a legend, but in terms of where Saka can go, the sky's the limit for him. The sky's the limit for this boy. I've always said that Mick Arteta's tactics is give the ball to Saka and he'll win you the game. He never rotates him, and there's a reason for that, because he's our best player. He's our most important player. Everyone, gives kudos to Odegaard about how he's a captain and blah blah. Saka's more important to him. People talk about Saliba. Saka's more important. Everyone loves Martinelli. Saka's more important. Saka is our match winner. If we can keep this guy fit to the end of the season, then we've got an excellent chance of silverware. I still think the silverware is probably going to come in the league, but this is the guy you need to keep fit. 13 goals this season, I think. 13 goals in the league, 13 3 in the Champions League.
Yeah,
I thought there's a situation now where he's in that kind of level of his game where he doesn't actually have to play well, just scores goals. He's got an eye for goal, and that's what he's really going to need, and what we're going to need. But those things works on them. Right foot works on his heading. We're laughing, but I'll tell you one thing: keep him in cotton wool, mate. You can't afford to rotate. Don't bother going, let's rest Saka. Sorry, mate. You you rest Saka, then we're going to start playing how we played against Man City to win that game. And trust me, that was a one-off, one-chance game. With this guy now, this is our match winner. Match winner. He keeps fit. Something could happen.
No, well said, Kenny. Judges, if I still got you for 2 minutes, or you got to go, mate? Let me
2
know.
more minutes, and then I got to go. That's it. Don't worry, like.
So, people, this will also go. Weekly Surgery episode 8 will also go on the download, so you'll hear all our fantastic dulcet tones. Judges, Albert JTV, and Big Bro Kenny Ken. But Judges, so we're coming to you. When are you going to Sheffield, Judges?
Monday.
Monday.
Up there for a day, and then back on the same day. So a long night.
Judges, is it safe to say, Judges, or safe journey, Judges? I'll message you anyway. I'll send you a nice little voice note so you know.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, would it be safe to say you're feeling pretty confident going into Sheffield United away come Monday night?
Yeah, pretty confident. I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty confident going into the Newcastle game. I have to say, that's not me being arrogant. I felt that we was going to win that game. I feel that we'll win this game. I don't know if we're going to win by a lot of goals, or we could do. You know, I've spoken to some Arsenal fans. They'll be disappointed if it's not 3 or 4. You know, they're on the same points as Burnley.
Yeah,
we went up to Burnley and give them a good seeing. So I think if we get the early goal, I think we could do, and if we really, really want to perform, it can be there. But the most important thing is winning the game. What I think Arteta will do is he want to win that game. If we are, and let's hope we are 2-3 goals up, then he might change a few things and all that. Like so, it'd be interesting to see what we get from it. Like but yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident that we can go and get something from Brentford, and I'm confident if we carry on with this sort of form, going to the Etihad and getting something as well. I'm not saying we're going to beat Man City, but I feel the way we're playing at the minute, we are the informed team at this moment in time. So yeah, why not feel confident? Listen, Sheffield United are bottom of the league. There's a reason that they're bottom of the league, and that's how you got to look for it. So let's all be confident, but not arrogant.
Yeah, very, very true. Well said. So, we've got some players on the sort of the injury front, or people coming back or training, coming to Kenny Ken. So, Fabio Vieira's in the squad. Obviously, Jesus is back as well. But I think with him, Mikel's still kind of fitness concerns there, because I think it's the same knee that he had issues with after the World Cup.
You can't mess with knees. Can't mess with knees. That's going to be his career for quite a while. It's when you get a knee injury, there's obviously you talk about Paul McGrath, you talk about Ledley King, you just get on with it. It's not going to, if it's that bad a tear, it's not going to get better. You just have to learn how to play through it. You have to manage your career. And I think, I'm not saying Jesus is in that category, but he had a major injury last season and he's had recurrences this season. That shouts, manage what you have to the rest of your career and get the best out of what you can, and I think that's in terms of just. But yeah, when you look in the running, that's where I think you are going to need Jesus. There's no rush. The team are playing fantastic football. Goals are plenty from all areas of the pitch. This is where you can nurse him on, nurse him through. In terms of Fabio Vieira, he's an interesting point, because I know if he was fully fit, I know Mikel probably would like to have had a look at him in Europe.
Yeah, definitely.
And he'd be a good player to sort of come on in certain games. Again, with the injuries had, these 12 games, these are I was talking about the players who are no good to us, are not going to bring anything to the table. Those 2 players are not in that category for me. You know what I mean? So but when you've got major injuries, to be honest, there's no reason to rush them back. No reason. You don't need to rush them for Sheffield. Don't need to rush them for Brentford. In terms of Porto, the temptation is very, very strong, because of the fact that we are going to have to play differently. Because I think how we played against PSV and how we played against Lens, then for me they're not top European sides. But when you get into the Champions League, when everyone says getting deep in that tournament, well, the last 16 is deep.
Yeah.
For us anyway, because that's where we need.
Been there for a long time. Yeah.
But you're only going to play good teams in the last 16. And if you do get pulled through Porto, Bayern Munich, forget their form in the in the Bundesliga, they're going to be named. They've got some excellent attacking footballers. They've got one of the best goalies in the world. Then you've got Real Madrid, who are a team for all seasons. Yeah. Everyone just looks at Real Madrid and they look at the flair. No, mate. This Real Madrid is workmanlike as well when they don't have the ball and they don't have dark arts. Man City won the league, so won the Champions League last season. They're going to be season. Let's not discount Internazionale. They got to the final last year, just like we finished second, and we want to go one better. Well, they might want to go one better as well because of what happened because I don't think they turned up. They didn't turn up. They froze. So these are the teams that we've got to play. And I think when you talk about this Gegen style football we're trying to play, playing, in terms of like we're murdering teams in terms of the pace of the way we play and the ruthlessness of the finishing. In Europe, there's no Burnleys, there's no West Hams, no Sheffields, no Lutons. This is the creme de la creme. That's why I think this is our best chance of silverware as the league.
Well said, Kenny Ken. Well said. And also, I think Thomas Partey. There's rumours. I don't know. I don't know if he'll feature on Monday. I'd be.
You know what? Lee's gonna love this. But the Thomas Partey stories. You know what? The Thomas Partey stories are akin to the Elvis is still alive stories. I'm sorry, but that's true. Sorry.
Jack and Ori.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Elvis is still alive.
I believe it when I see it.
Isn't it akin to the Elvis is still alive stories or JFK twin brother got shot in Dallas in 1963?
That's it. Or JR in Dallas, the actual Dallas program. And I'm old enough to remember that, people, by the way, in the chat.
Come on. Elvis is still alive. Come on. Thomas Partey's getting fit. Yeah, and Elvis is still not dead. Come on.
Oh, guys,
I've got to jump off, but it's been a pleasure.
Judges,
Lee likes my little funnies to send him away.
I like that.
Judges, no worries, mate. I'll see you soon. And it's a pleasure to do watch-alongs on the channel, mate.
No worries. Keep it going.
South East London comes out, mate.
Kenny, I'll see you later on.
See you soon, Lee.
Take care, mate. And we're left with two. Kenny, only one more thing to talk about. We are going to talk about the manager. What's it? Fourth season now, isn't it? So
I don't know. Sometimes I call him the Angel Gabriel. The Archangel Gabriel.
Yeah, I mean, it has gone. Kenny, it has gone quick, innit? I mean, he's been in the job this is fourth season. So it's always taking it back to obviously the time he's been here and sort of fast forwarding now. What are the things? What are the positive and negatives you've seen with him in particular this season as well?
Well, the thing is that the positives are that he recognises what's not working. He accepted, like, do you know that little segment, Lee mentioned about how we are more compact and how we don't concede the shots and goal, and we don't concede the goals we were conceding last season. What cost us the league was the fact that, a lot of our midfield, we basically left Thomas Partey do 2 or 3 people's jobs. That's not sustainable, not for the team and not for Thomas, because by the time he got the Man City, we really needed him. He had nothing left. I think his injuries, it's probably down to his workload, because before he had the injury, we were talking about our best player. We were calling him our best player ahead of Saka, ahead of Odegaard, ahead of Martinelli. So what he's done is that he's changed our style of play, where it has been frustrating. It has been a kind of a work of art because, he's had to cope with the fact that obviously Thomas is not been available, Timber as well. So he's had plan A, but the plan A players are not there. So he's had to use other players in those kind of positions, where he's had to ask more from Declan in terms of a ball carrying kind of way. He has to try and find a place for £65 million Kai Havertz. He has to. All this, he's a good bench player. I'm sorry, you don't pay £65 million for someone who can just come to the bench and do it in the last 20 minutes. He's had to sort of like blend in Thomas Partey, Kai Havertz from a midfielder, a deep line midfielder, to a midfielder who can play within a three, and then someone who can play the false number 9. So in that respect, he's done very well, and the results have been his friends since the turn of the year. One of the things that is going to define the manager is that when the pressure's been on in the last few years, pressure was on for the top 4 in 2022. He didn't deliver.
Yeah.
The pressure was excruciating for the league, and he didn't deliver. So this season, the pressure is going to be extremely excruciating in the league. Not subject to Champions League, because, as I said before, you've got to sleep with one eye open when you've got Liverpool in the fold as well as Man City. You know, Salah, Nunez, Szoboszlai, they're all going to come back fit. Endo, he's been a revelation for him.
Yeah.
He's going to be fit. We don't know what situation is going to happen with Trent, but if it's a recurring knee injury,
looking good.
It's probably same kind of issues that our good friend Jesus has. But you're talking about the 4 players I was talking about. They're all good players, and then so they're players who will make a difference. And they've got to find in Bradley, so you can't discount them. That's pressure. The Man City, the way De Bruyne is playing, come back into the fold. The way Haaland is now his eye in terms of goals. That's pressure. Yeah. That's pressure. And then you've got the games where I'll talk about the kingmakers. Let's forget Man City at home, away. That's definition. Spurs away. That's pressure. Brighton away. That's pressure. Chelsea at home is pressure. Where because of the fact that they our rivals have gone deep into the FA Cup, and obviously Chelsea have gone deep in the FA Cup. There's going to be games where we're going to play every 3 days if we're still in the Champions League. That's pressure. Yeah. So this is where we're going to learn a lot about him, because so far he hasn't impressed us in how he deals with pressure. This is going to be where he's going to be defined, where we're going to have to ask questions, and we're going to demand answers. That's the pressure. The pressure's on now because the fact that everyone's responding to each other.
Yeah,
but it's not gonna relent, and it's gonna get even more dark, because there's gonna be players are gonna get tired. The style of play that everyone's falling in love with, is it sustainable? Is it really sustainable to cover those? Is it sustainable for Declan to cover those miles every 2 or 3 days? Is it sustainable for Saka to go and boom, boom, boom? It's Martinelli. That's where the pressure is. Still being able to drag yourself over the line where you're feeling tired, and then you've got Spurs who don't want to give us nothing. Still fit. They want to get the Champions League. Aston Villa at home, even though we're playing at home, the pressure, the massive expectation,
pressure.
And then you've got Man United, Old Trafford. Everyone says Man United are this and that, and we should go and beat them.
Our record's terrible there.
The record's horrendous, and they turn it to Brazil. So one of the things that he's done well is to recognising the problems and being able to get us playing attractive football since the turn of the year. So that Dubai trip must have been worked wonders. So you give him credit for that, but it's against the pressure. This is where I've been critical. Obviously, the Rat Army have been extremely critical. We probably haven't expressed ourselves as eloquently as we'd like. We haven't been abusive. People think we have been abusive. We haven't been personal, but we have asked questions.
And right to ask questions. You can ask questions. You can always ask
it in a way where the biggest question I need an answer for, and I think the Rat Army want the same answer as well. How's he going to deal with the pressure when it's really hot? When the kitchen is so hot that the steam is coming out of your ears, that you're sweating, but you still got to go in there. You still got to put your hand in the furnace when it's hot, real hot. That's where this is the season where it's really hot, because we have to deliver in terms of, like, you can't say that he hasn't been supported financially. You can't say that he hasn't been supported emotionally from Edu and obviously his board members. He's been given a title as a team manager, so he has a lot of say in what goes on in the club. And most importantly, the fans are on board, albeit for a few dissenters and a few black sheep. But the majority of fans are on board with Mikel.
He's got a lot. He's got a lot. He's got a lot of backing. A lot of backing.
Yeah, and obviously the obvious is the financial as well. He has been given a lot of financial backing, so fans are going to want to see some sort of like how to say it. Not the end. They want to. They don't want to just see
trophies. Kenny Ken. They want to see trophies. That's what they're seeing it.
Well, fans want to see trophies because the simple reason is that there's more pros than there have been cons. And another reason why fans want more is because the process is over. The process ended last season when we challenged for the title. The process was to build a team that could challenge. Well, we challenged last season and we're challenging this season, which means the process is over. He doesn't want to be known as a manager who's built a team that could challenge. He wants to be the manager who wins. Let's not forget, we laughed at Klopp and we said Klopp can't win finals. We called Klopp Secunda, which is a Latin word.
Yeah, he had a period where he couldn't. Yeah, he had a period where he's losing a lot of finals, man.
Well, he's not Secunda. Klopp apparently is won as much as Bill Shankly. Bill Shankly is the guy who built Anfield.
Yeah,
Bill Shankly is seen as Liverpool's greatest ever manager. Yet Bob Paisley won more.
Yeah, it's mad. You know what? When you talk about pressure, Ken, like pressure is privilege. I've heard many times from great sports people. True. Us as fans, we wanted to be in this position, but I think it's right to ask questions because you made the good point, Kenny Ken, and I've said it quite a number of seasons now. We missed out on top 4 2 seasons ago, and that was painful. We obviously back in the Champions League for the start of this season, but that's off the back of not getting over the line to win a league title. Still painful reminder. But this is the time now. Can he deliver? For some fans, they're not there yet. I've seen it. They're like, you know what? If he does get a contract extension, which he probably will, I'd be surprised if it's more than 2 years personally. He's still got a year after this season, so it'd be technically 3 years if he gets offered 2. So, and the next one he's given, Kenny Ken, because he will get one, and he will sign it. There has to be something to show for it.
Well, you say that. Why not now? But I think
I would like. I'm on the board now.
I see what you're saying, but at the moment, a lot of fans see the manager as the Archangel Gabriel, and the thing about it is that I had a conversation with my brother last Saturday on the phone, lengthy conversation, and one of the things I did say is that as much as people like the Rat Army are seen as dissenters, there's going to be a time when it could be this season or the season afterwards. If we don't win trophies, people who do see the manager as the Archangel Gabriel are going to think, well, where's the trophy? Where's the trophies? They don't want people saying that Mikel's got a second place fetish for second place. They don't want to call him Secunda. I don't want that. And that's the thing. They will ask questions because that's what happens. People are at a stage where they're very, very happy with what he's delivered. They're very happy with blah, blah. But,
Kenny, people, look, I don't want to speak for every Arsenal fan because obviously they can have to say what they want to say. Nobody's disputing we're happy with progression because there were many seasons we had where we had nothing to enjoy. We wasn't even finishing in the top 4. Things can change very, very quickly in football.
Well, Arsene left us a mess. He left a mess, which was bordering on catastrophic. In fact, it was catastrophic. How that man is seen as any sort of hero is mind-boggling. I mean, you destroy something that fans love, something you say you love, and you get some fated. He should have had rotten tomatoes thrown at him, and let's not forget the cabbages as well. And they give him a statue. He really left a mess, and to the extent that he had to be saved from himself. He had to be sacked. Arsene Wenger was sacked. Don't be under any illusion
that is anything else.
Where people call him, Papa Wenger, and liken him to Zeus or Jupiter, whatever your persuasions, Greek mythology or Roman mythology. The fact is that he had to be safe from himself, and we need to be safe from him. But so I do understand where fans are coming from in that respect. But the situation The situation is now is that when you challenge for the title and you do it consecutively,
yeah,
then the process isn't over. Then the expectation is there. You know, this team is more experienced. It got the experience.
it's got another
Got
year
challenge.
behind it. Yeah,
Same sort
yeah,
of experience as Liverpool
yeah,
have world championship titles because you know Liverpool fans, a lot of Liverpool fans, you know, and Liverpool people, you know, in terms of in the media, think that Liverpool probably overachieved. They won everything because of the fact that they've had to rip the whole team apart in terms of the midfield.
yeah,
But when you get, because they've been in that situation before, you know, you've got players like Van Dijk, you know, players, Van Dijk's still there, Salah's still there, you know, Alisson's still there.
Matip's been there a
Obviously,
few seasons now. Yeah, he's been there a
yeah,
few seasons now.
Matip's injured, but yeah,
Yeah, at the
obviously he's in
moment,
and around the squad. You know, Robertson's still there as well. So
yeah,
that's still some, you know, bit of their spine and some great experience. They've been through a title challenge. So, you know, as much as you say that this is a overachievement, it's probably a year too early. They got the experience. All three teams now have the experience. Although Man City have got the greater experience because of what
of course.
they won the title 3 years in a row. So they've had experience of winning it. But in terms of being in this sort of pressure cooker, which is a title challenge, all three teams now have the experience. It's the expectations now is for one of them, preferably Arsenal, to deliver.
Yeah, of course. 100%. Yeah, I think just to wrap up, I think I'm at the point now why I didn't have Arsenal down for the league title this season. I had us finishing second. This was before a ball was kicked, by the way. In football, you're allowed to change your mind, people. It can happen. And I think in recent weeks, I'm kind of like, I think we'll take it a lot closer than last season. But there's still part of me, and I think it's probably my heart rule in my head. I, I think we'll be a little bit short. But that's not to say that Arsenal won't get it done. It could happen. It could happen. Listen, results in this season in the Premier League, you've seen some of the results this season. But it's up to Arsenal just to keep on winning, apply the pressure. And like you said, Kenny, which is a key thing. And I think this definitely attributes to this Arsenal side in the last 3 years, 2-3 years, is you've got to learn quickly and make sure what happened before doesn't happen again. And that's all
absolutely, 100%. It's 100%. I think that's the situation there. You know, because I see what the excitement where people come from. That if Arsenal start winning, they're not going to stop, and that's the thing. But you've got to start somewhere. You know, the FA Cup was so long ago. You know, it's a different players were in. It was virtually Unai Emery's side, and it's virtually it's the side that Arteta believed. Probably not so much afterwards that no, they're not going to give me what they're not going to bring me success. Aubameyang and Lacazette not going to bring me success. David Luiz is not bringing me success. Leno's not bringing me success. You know, they're not going to take me to the level I need to be at. So I need changes. He's made the changes. So that's the whole situation. You know. So he has got the players he wants. He's got the team he wants. You know, people say, yeah, but they're injuries. Well, everyone's had injuries. De Bruyne was injured.
Everyone's had them. Everyone's had them. Yeah.
Liverpool's injuries have been well documented. Well documented. You know, those two lineups yesterday against Southampton, the lineup in
mad, yeah,
in the cup final. You know, it's testament to them and their belief, and testament to their fans really that they got over the line in both those games.
Yeah,
you know, and that's what's going to happen. Just deal with it. Injuries are part of football. Just deal with it. Arsenal got to deal with their injuries. Liverpool got to deal with injuries. No excuses. You know, even anyone who doesn't win the league, the media and majority will say they're unlucky, but they will think, you know what, no excuses. You know, we just haven't been good enough. That's their mentality. Has to be. If you want to be successful, you have to treat failure like it's a disease. I can't get my words out. A disease. And I'm not being thing. That's the ambition you want to be at. You know, you talk about big clubs and the three biggest clubs in the country. Right, Liverpool won 46 trophies. Man United won 43. Arsenal on 31. But Chelsea on 27. Man City on 25. They're catching up.
Yeah, it's
Because I
mad.
want to sell.
When you look at it like that, yeah, it's mad.
Because I want to sell, my Bible, where where basically is saying that Arsenal is one of the third biggest club in the country. They're the biggest clubs in Europe. I need success. I need trophies. I need the cup with the big ears eventually.
I love that one. Yeah, of course, mate.
If you think about it, if you want to be, arguably, people can argue, we don't believe it, but they can argue that we're not an elite club because we haven't won the European Cup. They could argue that.
That's true.
That's the main point. We could fight our corner, but it's easy to fight the corner if we got that big cup with the big ears.
Yeah, no, you know what, Kenny, it's such a relevant point. One of my biggest bugbears, I know you probably feel the same as well, is our European record as a club. And I've always said it. Was because someone asked me, I went on the Burnley fans channel, actually, said to me, would you take the Champions League or the Premier League? And I went, I'm not afraid to say it, Kenny, because I've actually said it before. I would take the Champions League. And the reason why I said why.
I want the league because we're the best.
Yeah. The reason why I said the Champions League. Yeah. The reason why I said the Champions League is I said when you win an European trophy, I'm not saying Arsenal not respected because they probably are, but I think when you win an European trophy or successive European trophies as a club, it does elevate you, man. It 100% elevates you. Yeah, 100% more.
Not the Forest. Not the Forest fans not the Forest fans. I know I'm in a group with not the Forest fans, and I've done podcasts with not the Forest guys. His name long-haired Yeti.
Yeah.
Every time we get in a debate, he just says, "See these 2 stars,"
because they still remember it. It still talks about now. Yeah, it is. Cluffy. Yeah, listen, rest in peace, Cluffy. Yeah,
I've got a star. Aston Villa got a star.
Yeah.
Who else has got a star? Obviously, who else has got a star? Feyenoord have got a star.
Yeah.
Internazionale got a few stars. AC Milan's got a few stars. Porto got 2 stars.
I think Red Star Belgrade have got one somewhere in the old format.
Got a star. So these are clubs that Arsenal should beat them in Europe, but they got a star.
It's a fair point. Yeah,
and I do understand where a lot of fans have come from because the European Cup,
it's massive.
And I don't want to sort of like saying, "Oh, well, I've done this and that." To get to European Cup final, when I went to Paris in 2006, the hairs on the back of my head.
Yeah.
It was like amazing. It was. I was there 10 hours before kickoff, and I never left my spot. The only time I left my spot was to go to the toilet and go to McDonald's. And there wasn't a McDonald's too far from Saint Denis.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing, just to be there and to actually see the European Cup, they bring the European Cup out, at the opening ceremony, and the players have to walk past it. And you get to see it, obviously, from your vantage point in the ground, you think, oh my God. And then when Sol Campbell scored that goal, albeit us at 10 men, can we hold it? Can we hold it? Henri goes through right behind me in the goal. Please, Terry, come on, mate. You're our best ever player. Please score. Please score. Oh, no. And then when Eto'o equalises, you just know that players had nothing left out of 10 men. You just know we ain't, that when Eto'o scored and Belletti scored, that was over.
Yeah.
That is the worst feeling you'll ever have as a fan. So I understand the situation a lot because this is 18 years ago, and I still think about it, still get pain. But God, if I could legalize murder for one day, that referee, if murder was legal for one day, or if I was on, like I said, if I was told I had a day to live, I'll tell you one thing: if I had any injury, I'll go around him and strangle him. He cost that. I will never forgive that man for his officiating that day. His officiating cost us the European Cup that day. Never forgive him. I could hate him with passion, but I will only die for him.
Oh, Kenny, class stuff. But no, listen, people. Weekly Surgery has come to an end. Episode 30. Big up to Lee Judge. Lee had to go because obviously he's got North London podcast on Lee Judge's TV. Big up Kenny Ken. You can find Kenny Ken mainly on Instagram. He's there doing all these stuff, man. Like it and follow him on there, man. And obviously Judge's TV's channel link is in the title as well, which you will also see me on there as you all seen. The proper South East London comes out at me during these live watch-alongs, man. I'll be doing one on the Monday night, Sheffield United versus Arsenal.
Well, back in the 60s and 70s, they used to be gangsters. Now, South East London, it's all about Gary, jollof rice, okra soup, like fried chicken, egusi soup. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Ken, pleasure to have you on, man. It's been a while, but
Dave, it's passion, entertainment, and I hope a bit of knowledge as well.
Yeah. 100%.
All three of us, that is.
But people, yes, I'll put this on the audio. You'll hear our dulcet tones again. I tried to put on the Instagram live, but there's an issue with Instagram. It's not me. So shame I couldn't do that, but I'll put clips and put them on there. But yeah, smash the like button, subscribe to Albert J TV, Lee Judges TV, and follow Kenny Ken on his Instagram handle, which is going on the bottom of the screen. We are over and out, people. We'll see you on Monday night for Albert J TV on Lee Judges TV. See you soon, peeps.